boys of summer. It is summer. The Midsummer Classic is coming up next in Major League Baseball and the Atlantic League. Today, the last scheduled day of the first half, and the games still matter for the York Revolution as they take on the Lancaster Barnstormers. Doubleheader baseball here today. York is still alive in the Freedom Division race, though their tragic number is 1. If the Barnstormers win either end of this doubleheader, if Sugar Land wins the first game of a doubleheader at New Britain today, the race is over. Sugar Land will be the first half champions. York has put on an incredible charge. The Revolution winning 18 out of its last 21 games to make this race close. They were 15-31. They're 33-34. York has batted over 340 for the last 24 games, averaged better than 7 runs a game. And this is the lineup for the York Revolution that has had the incredible success. And they're missing 2 of their key elements. J.P. Sportman and Melky Mesa both out with broken bones after being hit by pitches, and this still is a very formidable lineup.
Well, this is a lineup that top to bottom has been hitting during this surge late in this first half of the season. And unfortunate for York, they did get off to that slow start. If they would have even played 500 baseball, they'd be looking at a first half championship.
Mark Mason has made changes to his ball club and gotten it better. The Barnstormers are looking to have that similar jump at the start of the second half. One of the keys I've always felt is going to be Destin Hood. He is in left field today. He had to start in left field last night. His debut Friday night did not go very well. He was 0 for 5. He struck out every time. Hood's got a great attitude. I think he's going to mean a lot to this ball club. He just needs some at-bats and some repetitions.
Well, and you say that about really anybody that comes in here. It takes, what, 50 swings or 50
at-bats? 50 at-bats is what they'll always tell you.
Right.
We're starting to see Andrew Applin, one of the other additions to this ball club, not in the lineup in game 1 because we're facing a left-hander in Ian Thomas, but Andrew Applin, a guy that we're starting to see some dividends reaped off of his signing. First pitch from John Anderson to Justin Trapp is low, ball 1. This is the first game of a doubleheader. We have a pair of 7-inning games today, just the first one here on Blue Ridge 11. The second one will be on the Barnstormers YouTube channel. Anderson comes back, missing outside to Trapp, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. We got rained out last night, which was unfortunate because the Barnstormers got off to a terrific start. They scored 3 runs in the bottom half of the first inning. They were swinging the bats incredibly well last night. A strike taken by Trapp. It is 2-1, but that's the way this season has gone, and if you're going to still have tough breaks, let them fall in the first half now, and everything get better come Friday. 2-1. Trapp will lift that foul out of play to the right.
You know, that game last night, kind of a microcosm, or just epitomizes the way the first half has gone. As soon as something started going well for Lancaster, you get a rain out. And if I had my hat on, I'd tip it to you because you said over a month ago, watch out for this York Revolution team. They are getting built for a run.
Breaking ball inside, 3-2. I've watched Mark Mason do this for several years now. Find key players, get his team built, and get them ready for the second half. They often start very slowly. 3-2 pitch coming. Trapp will draw the leadoff walk, and John Anderson has an immediate problem. Trapp has 10 stolen bases in 11 tries. 4 members of the starting lineup for this York ball club, including Trapp, have played with other Atlantic League teams. Trapp has been at Somerset. Wellington Dotel, who will bat 6th, has been with Bridgeport and Sugar Land. Angeles Nina has been at Bridgeport, New Britain, and Southern Maryland. Alvaro Rondon played for Sugar Land. We have the left-handed batting Henry Castillo stepping in, and he takes a ball inside. Rocky start for John Anderson.
Yeah, this is not the start he was looking for, and it's unfortunate because that has been the situation with the Barnstormers pitching. The base on balls. They lead the league in free passes.
But it hasn't been an issue for Anderson. He's averaged only 2.4 per 9 innings this year. He misses low to Castillo, 2-0. He's missed with 6 out of his first 8 this afternoon. Anderson 5-4 with a 4.63 ERA coming in. He's thrown 6 innings in each of his last 3 starts. Quality starts for him. 2-0. Castillo pops it up foul.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good strikeout to walk ratio, a little more than 3-1. It's just unfortunate that it seemed like the base on balls that he has given up have come back to haunt him. It's not the way you want to start a ball game.
So often they will. The work to the plate, hard hit ground ball foul. And he's drawn even with Castillo, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Folks came out here early to watch the championship game of the Women's World Cup. This is the second game of their triple header today. That's the way we build it. Just fought off by Castillo. There were at-bats against Buddy Bauman last night. Start up Justin Trapp leading off the game last night. Flied out to center, but it took 10 pitches to get him.
Wow.
Most nights when the rains hit, we probably would have had 2.5 innings in, but last night's game was dragging its heels. A lot had happened. It had taken us better than 40 minutes to get to the rain delay.
And when it came with a vengeance.
The wind did. It never actually rained terribly hard here at the stadium. Hard enough not to play baseball. But when the winds kicked in, it played havoc with one James Skelton fly ball last night. Really knocked that one down. It ended up being a 7-5 force out at third. And when the ball was hit, it looked like an easy play for Hood in left field. And the wind just cut it down, but Ryan Dent, the runner at second base, thought all along the ball would be caught, so he was playing it close to second. They came up firing and got the force out at third. Payoff pitch is due now to Castillo. Anderson will go to first base, easily back Trapp.
It's funny how just a couple of miles can change the weather patterns, because it poured at my house. I mean, the sky just opened up. So
3-2 pitch toward the middle, just past Martinez, and a base hit. Trapp around second, he'll hold on there as Sanford retrieves it in a hurry. And Michael Martinez has made some dazzling plays from that shortstop position, and I thought for an instant we were on the verge of another one. Reacted just a shade late here.
Yeah.
He made a play 2 nights ago, rather, against Angeles Nina in the second inning. He made a play against Sergi Rosa up the middle. Our final night at High Point, just so fun to watch. Now it's first and second with nobody out. Telvin Nash, the batter. Check swing by Nash. They'll appeal, and he'll get rung up on that one. I wanted to call it from here, but I decided to let Joe Del Balso do it. 0-1.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt.
Now they're talking about changing the rules on check swings in the Atlantic League.
What?
To give the hitter a little bit more of an edge. Swinging a foul ball back. That's one of the things on the table for the second half.
You can't appeal?
You have to roll your wrists for it to be, as opposed to breaking the plane of the plate, which is easier for the umpires to detect.
But that's why you have umpires on each side of the diamond to help in case they...
It's one of the rule changes that are on the table. We'll get some definitive word. 0-2 here to Nash. League home run leader. Takes a ball outside and low. He had a 2-run shot here on Friday night to the opposite field. That's one of the longest home runs to right by a right-handed batter I think I've seen in this ballpark. I think it ended up on Clay Street.
Well, this guy's been mashing the ball all season long. Leads the league in home runs with 21.
Bouncing ball here to third. Bell goes to Gamache and on to Hobson. They turn the double play against Nash. 5-4-3. That one fairly routine around the horn. 2 outs, and it'll bring on Tejeda.
No, I got the nice big hop. Easily turned. And a big, big double play for Anderson. Now a chance to get out of the inning unscathed. The only problem is it never gets any easier with this lineup.
Tejeda, 339. He's just been spraying line drives. He's among the league leaders in batting. He's behind Alejandro De Aza of the New Britain Bees. Left-handed batting Carlos Franco on deck. He's only batting .419.
Is that it?
Yeah, .588 against Lancaster pitching.
Oof.
Out to right, but foul. Tejeda catching today. We've seen him play first base in this series previously. James Skelton getting game one off today. He'll be in game two with the right-hander Alejandro Chacin, scheduled to throw for the Barnstormers in the nightcap. But after the high fastball, it's 1-2. Well, Anderson now can see the light at the end of the tunnel. This was a tough start to this inning. A walk and a solid single up the middle, but the double play helps greatly. He has Tejeda at a ball and 2 strikes.
He's one of 9 Revolution players selected to the All-Star game, although 8 are going because Sportman is injured.
In the dirt, Tejeda wouldn't chase. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Barnstormers initially had 7. A couple of players had other commitments. Kyle Davies, Michael Martinez. Two popped up in foul ground. Tejeda continues to battle here in the top of the first.
I like the spot up and in on the strike zone.
With the way guys are swinging today, the high fastball counters it. More of those uppercut type swings now. And there's an off-speed pitch. He went after that. John Anderson does a great job getting out of this first inning. 1 hit, 1 left, and we will go to the bottom of the first, scoreless here in Lancaster. You look at the defense for the York Revolution. Alvaro Rondon, we're more used to seeing him play shortstop for the Sugar Land Skeeters. Wellington Dotel has arguably one of the best throwing arms in this league. He made a throw from left field the other night with Caleb Gindel attempting to score on a double, which Gindel did across the plate, but Dotel threw from the left field corner to home just to the back of the plate, and Gindel slid to the infield side, swiped his hand across the plate, but it was an amazing throw by Dotel. And there is the Lancaster Barnstormers batting order. A lineup that you get, if Hobson becomes Hobson and Bell becomes Bell and Destin Hood does what the Barnstormers anticipate he will do down the road, that is a lineup that's also devastating. You've got some great players 1 through 9 in there. But Hobson and Bell have both had first halves that aren't up to their standards. If they come to life in the second half, the Barnstormers might very well put up the same numbers we're seeing out of the York Revolution over the last month or so.
It's kind of been a roller coaster ride offensively for the Barnstormers as well.
You look at left-hander Ian Thomas. He is 3-0 with a 2.83 earned run average, as you see. Barnstormers got to Thomas the one time they faced him this year knocked him out in the 4th inning. 6 hits and 3 runs. Darian Sanford takes a strike on the afternoon's first pitch. Sanford had his stolen bases 30th last night, and it got wiped out. Back to work for him. Smash inside the bag at third, down the line. Chasing it is Dotel. Sanford is going to challenge that arm, and he will beat the throw, which is offline. Darian Sanford leads off with a double, his 8th two-base hit of the year, and the Barnstormers have the fastest man in the Atlantic League in scoring position with nobody out.
He got it right down the line, and then you see how it kicked to the left just a little bit. That just was one more step Dotel needed to make to pick up the ball, and you know what? Sanford said he's going to challenge the arm, and he got in there easily.
And because of Darian's speed, Castillo has to play up at third. He's got no choice, and the ball got by him quickly. Michael Martinez stepping in, the shortstop at 278. Thomas delivers. It is inside, a ball 1-0.
Well, obviously Sanford has really come on here in the last, 30 games or so? 35 games?
And he's played very well. His first 100 at-bats, 17 hits. His next 100 at-bats, 34 hits. Wow. That's quite a jump.
Okay, now it's just a matter of getting everything aligned offensively and pitching-wise.
Dribbler foul, 1-1. Well, the Barnstormers need their pitching to stay where it's been the last couple of weeks. They've gotten a lot of quality starts. The bullpen is looking a tremendous amount better. And they need at least one more batter to really start contributing. There's been such a load placed on the Gamashes and Gindels and Trdosloviches this year that they've been in there every day, and the bats have looked a little bit tired lately. Foul ball back, 1-2. Still banging out base hits like Gamache, but the doubles aren't ringing off his bat like they were. The hits are singles now. And that's been a palpable difference here the last couple of weeks. The schedule got to this team. No question about it. I'm not blaming them. It's gotten to me, too. And I understand it's
the truth.
Swing and a miss. Martinez has gone on strikes. I mean, the first half wasn't going well anyway, and then you just add to that the crazy schedule that this club has had to try and keep up with, and it grounds some of the guys down, some of these guys in the middle of the order. Yeah, we talked about Gamache. This guy, up until 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think was the best hitter in the Atlantic League, and the numbers are still outstanding, but as I said, they're not doubles, they're singles now. The ball just isn't jumping off his bat. His bat's just not quite as lively as it had been earlier in the year. He takes a ball outside from Thomas, 1-0.
You know what? I take a base hit here. Base hit gives him a 1-0 lead.
With Sanford, the runner at second. That is lined and into right field for a base hit, but Sanford's going to have to hold at third. Nina up with that ball too quickly. It's first and third for Gindel.
Okay, so explain this to me now with the first half. If Sugar Land wins the opener of their doubleheader today, they win. Now, if they lose and Lancaster sweeps York, then it comes down to...
No, if York sweeps Lancaster.
No, but what if...
No, Sugar Land's magic number is 1. If York sweeps Lancaster and Sugar Land loses game 1 today, it comes down to a York at Southern Maryland makeup game. After the All-Star break. They were rained out Thursday night. Number back to the hill by Gindel. The out goes to second base. Throw back to first won't be in time. And Sanford scores. Gindel able to drive in the run with somewhat of an awkward swing. Not necessarily too Gindel-like, but he got the job done. And the Barnstormers lead by 1. The topper and Thomas went to Dent. And then the throw back to first not in time to cut down Gindel.
You know what? If Thomas makes a better throw to second base, they might have had that, but because Dent had to go down.
To reach down.
Yes.
Joe Trdoslovich, the batter. It's the 49th run batted in, by the way, for Gindel. He had one taken off the board last night. Trdoslovich with a fly ball lifted into the right field corner, even out of the camera view.
I hate to bring up bad memories, but what year was it that the first half between Lancaster, was it Southern Maryland, wasn't determined until sometime almost in August?
In August. It was 2017. The game that we were trying to make up got rained out again, and then the league decided, well, it wouldn't be the next night. It was moved to an off day in August. And by then, Southern Maryland had all its guys back, and the Barnstormers were banged up. Line to left by Turdoslavich. And down for a base hit, and it bounces away from Dotel. Caleb Gindel is going to be able to race home. Turdoslavich is on his way to third. And the Barnstormers have taken a 2-0 lead.
Boy, did that take a funny hop on Dotel. Although you almost have to think that's a single and a two-base error.
We'll get a ruling on it, and we'll take another look. Turdoslavich with a clean base hit. Dotel went over to play it. That ball bounced past him the other way. My inclination is for a triple, but we'll get the official ruling here in a moment.
Well, not only did it take a funny hop, but it helped that Dotel lost his footing at the same time.
Well, he did give it a single and an error. Casey Hobson will step in. 2 outs, Turdoslavich, the runner at third. Into the dirt for a ball, 1-0. Lancaster off to another terrific start. Strike taken. Destin Hood, the left fielder, waits on deck. The Barnstormers have been scoring pretty regularly in the first inning, if you include last night, which never officially happened. 5 out of the last 6 games, the Barnstormers have scored in the first. Hobson fooled off speed. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
But it's encouraging to see that they picked up where they left off last night.
Swing and a miss. Hobson goes down. The Barnstormers get 2 runs on 3 hits. 1 error and a runner left over at third base. Well, through an inning, the Barnstormers out to the early 2-0 lead. Beautiful day to be out here at Clipper Magazine Stadium. The weather forecast now has the potential threat of thunderstorms moved back to this evening. So no reason not to come out and enjoy doubleheader baseball at Clipper Magazine Stadium. Plenty of action still to come. The Barnstormers with the 2 runs in the first inning. The second one unearned to Ian Thomas.
You know what? Kudos to the fans, too. I mean, they've been coming out. Attendance is up this year. They're actually second in the league in attendance behind High Point. And
new attendance reports. You're reading home and away total.
Oh, okay.
But attendance is up.
Yes, it is.
It is. I agreed with your first point, and then you made the second one, and I was scratching my head a little bit.
I was wondering why your eyes got so big.
First pitch to Carlos Franco for a strike called.
Yes.
It's 0-1. That's news to the people in Long Island and Somerset and Sugar Land.
True.
Yeah, very, very true. 0-1. Franco taking a ball low. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. Carlos Franco has been unbelievable overall. Great pickup for this York Revolution ball club. They moved him to be their everyday third baseman. Anderson working ahead of him in the count. 10 for 17 against Lancaster pitching. He was 5 for 5 the first game he played against the Barnstormers.
Yeah, we had that game, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and how does he respond to the York Revolution for signing him? He sets a franchise record 424 for the month of June. Yeah, good signing.
Anderson gets him here. Second strikeout in a row for John. He's located his groove today. Took him a couple batters in. Anderson has been extremely steady as a starting pitcher. He hasn't had an electric game. He's been giving up. First it was about 3 runs and 5 1/3, 5 2/3. Now it's changed to 2 runs in 6 innings, kind of every time out. And you love to have that if you're a manager. You know pretty much what you're looking at. There's a bunt, and it's foul at home plate.
Yeah, it hit him while he was in the box.
Wellington Dotel, the batter. Dotel is so much fun to have on the field because you never know what's going to happen. Yeah, it came back up and hit his bat a second time. You never know what you're going to see with Dotel. The other night, he had that absolutely ugly strikeout his first time up. I mean, horrible looking strikeout against Jared Lake, and he chased 2 balls that bounced ahead of the batter's box. The next time he comes up, hits a home run to tie the game, and then he has 2 other singles the rest of the night. He made that incredible throw to home plate on Gindel here Friday night, and then you see a ball get away from him in the bottom half of the first inning here. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dotel fouls it away. You know, Wellington Dotel is a one-man package of entertainment on the field. I've always enjoyed having him in the Atlantic League as he's made the rounds here. 1-2 pitch, just low, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, you're going to get the complete package with him, though. Offensively, defensively. 3rd time now he's going to the All-Star game, 2nd as a York Revolution.
Anderson's pitch fouled away.
And you mentioned about Anderson too. If he could give Ross 6 innings today,
it helps because you've got to use the entire bullpen second game.
Absolutely.
Ground ball is short. Martinez cuts down Dotel 2 away here in the second. Ryan Dent, the York shortstop, stepping in. Alejandro Chacin will start the second game, but he's probably only going to go about 3 innings. Second game, you might see a lot of experimentation if the race is over. You could see it on both sides. York would have a shot at a wild card spot, but it would be difficult for them too, because High Point and Somerset have both won 41 games in the first half. So for Southern Maryland or Lancaster or even York to make up that ground to catch one of those ball clubs would take a lot, especially for the Barnstormers or Southern Maryland. Everybody pretty much knows here that it's win the second half or bust for this season. The Barnstormers have been playing and trying to set up for that for a while. 0-2 to Dent. High and outside, ball 1, 2 strikes. Melvin Mercedes will be back. I think that's going to be a key part of the second half. I love the way that guy approached the game the first week of the season till he broke his ankle. Dent lines to left field for a base hit. 2-out runner, Angeles Nina, will step in.
Little did we know that that was going to be the start of numerous injuries for the Barnstormers.
Well, the start of the injuries was Destin Hood before the season even got here. When he had to have what we were told at the time was minor back surgery in March. And initially, we were of the understanding that he would be ready to go in early May and finally activated July 5th. It was a tricky recovery for Destin, and nothing against him. He has become one of everybody's favorite people in this ballpark. But it just took so long, and then a couple of different injuries to Parker Morin and the injuries to Schumann and Albie. Just about everybody back now, and you have to believe there will be a different look.
Well, and I think the one thing that you touched on too was the fact that the bullpen has been pitching better. Now with Schumann back as well, that could be a huge difference in the second half of the season.
1-1 to Nina. Anderson working ahead in the count at a ball and 2 strikes.
Because let's face it, this offense can score the runs.
Matt Marksberry is pitching like the Matt Marksberry of last season.
Yep.
He went back to what he was doing last year. Ball 2 is low. 2-2. Chassim has looked very good recently. Logan Sawyer has a streak of scoreless innings working, and Ross is using him more and more in games that are fairly close. 2-2 pitch, fouled back. And this is what makes York so good. We saw this occur Friday night. The Barnstormers had a 2-0 lead in the first inning there as well. Is that they get the 2-out single. They still have a decent potential to score in this inning. Any one of their guys can beat you. Ground ball to the hole is short. Martinez will go across the diamond, and the throw catches Hobson in between hops. And runners are at first and second for Rondon.
Well, it's a difficult play for Martinez as he goes in the hole and has to make one fluid motion, and then Hobson kind of got tied up. Does he stretch? Well, it's too far for him to stretch, so he tried to play it on the hop.
It's the in-between hop. It's going to be an error charge to Martinez. Michael uses the bounce throw quite a bit from the hole at shortstop, and it's a valid play, but he actually threw that one a little bit too far for Hobson to handle. He needed to bounce that a couple feet shorter, and Hobson would have had an easy play on it. Alvaro Rondon, now a switch hitter. I thought he used to be, at one point anyway, exclusively left-handed for Sugar Land. He's in from the right side. Ball 1 from Anderson, now a strike. And as I was saying, York can build off a 2-out single and score. And we've seen them do it quite often in these last 2 series between these 2 ball clubs. Their hot stretch really got underway when they were here the first time, and they swept the 4-game series. Second strike to Rondon.
Well, they had multiple players with double-digit hitting streaks. I mean, everybody just started clicking. They lead the league in batting, and they're almost 30 points higher than the second-place team in team batting average. That's amazing.
In the dirt, it bounces away from Morin. Runners will advance to second and third. Now a base hit, and all that Barnstormer work in the first inning will be eradicated. John Anderson had the first 2 batters of this inning set down pretty easily.
He did.
And Dent with a base hit. Now an error, a wild pitch. Rondon goes to right field. On for it comes Gindel. Caleb is there, and Anderson is out of the danger. 1 hit, 1 error. York strands 2, and the Barnstormers hold the lead. Nice start for the Lancaster Barnstormers today, and we'll see if they can keep the foot on the accelerator. We mentioned the Barnstormers have had a lot of success scoring in the first inning, but those previous 3 official games where they've done it, they haven't done much else, and they've ended up losing. So today, the day, you just want to keep the pressure on. The Barnstormers would love to be able to say, if nothing else, they were the team that kept York from winning the first half. They're trying to play spoiler out here.
Well, twofold. One, because of the way York hit, but 2, it's a 7-inning game. The more runs you score early on, the better you can set yourself up for a win.
The left-hander, Ian Thomas. He's a Virginian. He's from the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area. Goes to work on Destin Hood. Destin was hit by a pitch in the first inning last night. And you have to be able to put a ball in fair territory. He hit some nasty foul balls early in that at bat last night. Thomas works to him at a ball and strike. But I just have that feeling, I've had that sense all along, that once Destin Hood gets going, he's going to do a lot of damage. Fooled by a change, and it's 1-2.
Well, he's just got to be tickled to be back and playing again after that extended time off. You know, it took a little longer as far as the recovery is concerned, but get some time in and then.
Fastball inside, 2-2.
Hope that things really start falling into place for him in the second half of the season.
Just by the place of his birth, he has baseball in his blood. Same hometown, Mobile, Alabama, as Henry Aaron, Willie McCovey, Satchel Paige. Swings and misses. Down on strikes here today. That is number 3 for Thomas.
Isn't Tommy Agee from Mobile?
He may well have been. Willie Mays is from nearby, just outside of Mobile. Their early win.
That's a pretty nice list of players.
The stadium there named after Henry Aaron. But they'll be losing their franchise after this year. The Mobile Bay Bears are moving on to Madison, Alabama. Strike to the inside corner on Bell, 0-1 outside of Huntsville. The return of baseball to the Huntsville market. They lost their franchise a few years back to Biloxi.
So it's not just football where they pack up and leave.
The problem is the Southern League has about 12 or 13 viable markets. There are so many cities that are perfect size for AA baseball in Alabama and Mississippi and Tennessee that it's just a question of who has the new stadium, who's willing to build a new one. The old stadium, for example, in Huntsville, Joe Davis Stadium, I've seen it. Caleb Gindel played there. Anderson De La Rosa played there. That place was pretty nasty. And now they've got a brand new facility being built out in the town of Madison. Madison and Huntsville were actually twin cities. It's just Huntsville exploded around NASA. But now Madison has started to grow as well. And that's where the stadium is going. And they'll be the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Rocket City Trash Pandas.
The Rocket City Trash Pandas. That is an involved name. And it's a mixed metaphor somehow. I get both as Bell goes down on strikes, bringing on Parker Morin. Trash Panda is the southern nickname for a raccoon.
Well, yeah, okay.
And Rocket City because NASA is there at the Davidson Space Flight Center. Huntsville is built around that and the aerospace industry in general. With places like Boeing and Lockheed Martin have large facilities and mostly engineering facilities there. I know the city fairly well. My son went to college there. I've been down there a lot. Swing and a miss. It's 0-1. Beautiful place, Huntsville, Alabama.
Trash Pandas.
It beats the Sod Poodles. Which apparently is the Texas nickname for a groundhog. And the new team in Amarillo is the Sod Poodles.
Wow.
Which is still better than being a jumbo shrimp or a baby cake, I think. I'll take being a rumble pony.
No, I like that.
I don't know about being a rubber duck. Some of these names are getting weird.
Well, in Reading, it is called the Fightins.
The Fightins, yeah.
Fighting what?
1-2. That's strike three called. Beautiful breaking ball, and Ian Thomas strikes out his 4th in a row and 5th overall. We're on our way to the 3rd inning with the Barnstormers leading 2-0. Nice afternoon for baseball. It is overcast here at Clipper Magazine Stadium. There are some visible patches of blue. And great day for families to be able to spend some time together.
I think the clouds,
what I still will call America's pastime.
Clouds are a welcome to this afternoon. If that sun was out, it would be hot.
The Barnstormers experienced hot for 4 days this week, playing on the artificial surface at High Point in the summer heat of North Carolina. It was in the 90s just about every day. Not the Thursday. Thursday we had a thunderstorm come through in the afternoon to cool things off. But Monday through Wednesday, it was in the 90s down there, and on that field surface, it was about 110. I thought at one point I saw Josh Bell, we could put him back on the field and cause a rain delay. Sweat was pouring off him after BP one day. Justin Trapp drew a walk his first time up, back around his second trip.
And how was your view for the game?
Depended on which day.
Oh, you got moved around?
I got moved around. Chopper, nice play by Bell, fully extended, and he'll get Trapp one out here in the 3rd inning. Now, the scary part about High Point is the Thursday night game. I was working from a spot behind home plate, just off to the third base side. I actually wasn't all that far from the Barnstormers dugout. Miles Schroeder, the center fielder for High Point, hit a ball that would have hit me the night before.
Oh, jeez.
And it was a wicked hooking line drive that just cleared the net down the right side and hit the window of the visiting broadcast booth. Joey Greer, my assistant, was sitting in there. I would have been out in front of that booth. It would have been headed straight for my head. Well, that's a little bit intimidating because I'm not sure I could have reacted to that. I would have thought that the net was going to get it. And I've got so many things going through my mind, and it's tough from that right field location to pick the ball up off the bat for me. So I will pick up the ball a split second later.
So the next time you go to High Point, pack a glove.
Ball 1 and 2 strikes the count. It's tough to type on the laptop with the glove on now.
Well,
Anderson to Castillo. Line drive out to right field, sinking in front of Gindel. And a 1-out single. Castillo is 2 for 2. Telvin Nash now stepping in. Anderson got him to wrap into a 5-4-3 double play back in the first inning.
Well, Caleb had thoughts of throwing to first again. Well, you know he's just itching to do that, but you got to pick the right person.
One of these days.
Yep.
It's only been done once, and then the umpires overturned it. It was a game against York a few years ago. Anderson has been successful so far this afternoon, but he's had to work for it. Pitch totals are running high. Nash chases one up. But here again, York always seems to be able to keep the pressure on.
Yes.
In this role that they have gotten into. Anybody, anywhere in this lineup can jump up and hurt you. So as a pitcher, you're constantly having to focus. 2-1 to Nash. And that's what good lineups will do. And the way lineups work, it's not 9 individuals. And I think sometimes because of this era of fantasy baseball and computerized games, dice games, whatever, you start to have that mentality that it's 9 individuals in a lineup. It's not. When lineups are clicking like York's has done, each guy makes the other hitters better. And one of the reasons for that is because the pitchers don't get a break. They don't have that guy hitting 175 in the number 9 spot where they can go, okay, I can just, throw fastballs here, get him out, and it's a little bit of a mental break. When you got a lineup that's going really well, it wears that pitcher down. 3 balls, 1 strike to Nash. Anderson to the plate, swing and a miss, full count. The Barnstormers have had years like that. I think the last time we truly saw that was down the stretch in 2014. There was no breather in that lineup.
Yeah, that's when you know you got everything going, and that's kind of the way things have gone for York here the second half of this first half of the season.
Payoff to Nash, rifled out the left field, sprinting back on it his hood. It's over his head and out to the wall. Castillo is going to round third. He's headed toward the plate. It took Martinez a double clutch to get rid of the ball. Castillo scoring easily on the Nash double, and now we've got a 2-1 game. 18th double, 54th run batted in for Telvin Nash.
Well, this guy just continues to rake the ball. I mean, what a first half of the season. Even without the double clutch by Martinez.
I don't think there was a play.
No,
he made a great relay throw in High Point the other night. People were talking about that. Double by Quincy Lattimore. Andrew Applin made a terrific play, cutting the ball off in the gap, fed Martinez. Martinez heaved it right on line to Anderson De La Rosa, and they actually got Leidendorf by about 15 feet. And there's a lot of buzz about that play the next day. No runner in scoring position, the tying run in scoring position. First pitch strike to Tejeda.
Yeah, so Anderson now really has to bear down. Got to get this second out because this is the heart of the York batting order.
Fouled back, it's 0-2. You look back to the 2014 team that the Barnstormers had. Where was the weak spot in that batting order? You had Galen, you had Carroll, you had Garner, you had Golson, you had, I'm not sure I can remember, Gabe Jacobo, and you had Olmo Rosario and Wilson Batista and Juan Apodaca. I mean, the lineup was just stacked, scoring scads of runs. Fouled off to the right, 0-2. You had Kaji. He was certainly no lightweight, especially that first year here. Zawadski. I mean, where was the weak spot?
Well, and that's why you said it's more than 9 guys. It's even the guys
off the bench.
That's a manager's dream to have something like that.
And the pitching certainly was good enough with all that offense. Looks like this will stay in play. Hobson is there. Is retired by Anderson a second time. Now it's Carlos Franco stepping in.
Well, that's a very big out for Anderson. We saw him work some magic, get out of a jam in the second inning, and well, the first 2 innings actually, and now he's got a chance to get out of this one again.
I went back to look at the last time that York was here. Dotel was batting in the 240s, and actually 245 to start that series. He's batting 300 now, and on it goes. It's like that up and down through the batting order. First pitch strike on Franco. It's 0-1, and this may have ultimately been the key addition. This is probably signing of the year so far in the Atlantic League since the season started, was getting Carlos Franco into this middle of the York batting order. Chopper to short. Martinez right there, legally so. Franco is cut down. Anderson gives up just the run. The Barnstormers lead is cut back to 2-1. York is cut into the early Lancaster Barnstormers lead. Lancaster will get the top of the order to the plate. They step in its half of the third inning. The question I have, your opinion on this, is Lancaster a singular or a plural noun? Because in the soccer world, it's plural. It's USA win, not USA wins. It's just a grammatical question.
No, wait a minute.
In soccer, you would have heard this earlier today,
yeah.
And my sons are big soccer fans. They're posting it. USA win, not USA wins. So is it Lancaster leads or Lancaster lead? First pitch to Darian Sanford in the air to center. This will be easy for Trapp. One out. That is 5 in a row retired by Ian Thomas.
I'm sorry, I say wins.
I do too.
Because it was a contest. They won the contest.
I'm just saying, is it a singular noun or a plural noun? USA in soccer is plural.
Why is it called a pitch, not a field? What is a pitch?
Why is it called a match and not a game? I don't know. Called strike, it's 0-1 to Martinez. Ian Thomas has really settled in. He had struck out 4 in a row before the Sanford fly ball. Martinez shows bunt and takes a second strike. And Thomas, since the first 5 batters of this game, has really gotten locked in.
I hear pitch, I think baseball. I hear pitch, I think of a tent. I don't think soccer. What is a pitch? Ooh.
Just missed with that one.
We were discussing this. I think soccer is the only sport where the clock goes in the opposite direction. It goes up as opposed to winding down.
Ball 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I need somebody to explain this to me.
Ian Thomas Last time out, a winner at Southern Maryland. Got a lot of support. This ball is pounded pretty well out the left field and out to the wall for Michael Martinez. Dotel will chase it down, and Martinez glides into second with the double. His 11th two-base hit. Martinez is a little guy, but he packs a lot of wallop. He's hit some impressive home runs.
Would love nothing more to see Lancaster come back and get that run back that they surrendered in the top half of the inning.
And that's what you need to do to win baseball games on any kind of a consistent basis. Dan Gamache singled his first time up. Ross still puts the left-handed batters, Gamache and Gindel, back-to-back, even with a southpaw starter. He has done that and confident in doing it most of the year. Rolled on the right side. Martinez will get the third as Gamache is retired, grounding out. So now it's up to Gindel with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Caleb Gindel has tremendous stats when it comes to the RBI situations. For the season, he's hitting .400 with runners in scoring position. He is 15 for 18, getting a runner home from third base with fewer than 2 outs. He's got to do it here with 2. He swings and misses against Thomas, going down a strike at his 0-1. And with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, Gindel hitting .367. Trying to get Michael Martinez home here. Ian Thomas to the plate. Gindel is swinging a towering fly ball. Way back this one goes, and the center fielder, Trapp, will watch it go. That ball really traveled. It didn't look like anybody thought it was gone off the bat. But Caleb Gindel gets his 10th home run and gives the Barnstormers a 4-1 lead.
Well, you saw the expression on Thomas's face. He thought for sure that was going to be caught by either Trapp or Nina out in right center field, but the ball just kept carrying and going and going. Not just enough to get over the wall.
Gindel watching, Thomas watching, and can't believe it. Nina cutting over, Trapp, we watched him just continue to drift back, got there, looked up, and the ball belongs to the Annie Bailey's backyard. Here's Terdoslavich. Line drive and a base hit to left for him. Joe is picking up the pace again. He was struggling for a while. A lot of it was because the ball wasn't falling in for him. But last night and today, he has nailed 3 pitches. Last night, he lined out the second, which is the fate he's been experiencing as of late. Now here is Casey Hobson with the Barnstormers leading by 3. 6 hits now off of Thomas.
Well, and Gindel just adds to those impressive numbers with runners in scoring position.
Ground ball, that'll sneak through into right field. Franco coming off the bag, couldn't get it. Heading to third is Terdoslavich. Hobson with a single into right, and Destin Hood will bat with runners at first and third. The Barnstormers are swinging very aggressively against Thomas.
They are, and they're all finding holes, which is a nice sign. And as you mentioned earlier, now it's time to just put the pedal to the metal and try and finish this one off and take game 1. Still a lot of baseball to play, though, and that's why, and especially in this stadium, never enough runs.
Thomas to Hood, last up the middle, base hit. Destin Hood's on the board, and it's 5-1. A lot of first pitch swinging for the Lancaster Barnstormers this inning. Destin Hood is awakened.
Well, Thomas trying to get ahead of the count, but he's leaving him in too much over the meat of the plate, and Lancaster is making him pay for it. 3 consecutive well-hit balls. Well, 4 if you want to count the double by Martinez to start it.
Josh Bell with 2 runners aboard. He'll take a breaking ball inside and low, ball 1. Bell's thinking to himself, why didn't I get a pitch like that? They have nibbled at this guy all year, and he's had a tough season. Breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-1.
Philip Walby, a right-hander, throwing for York in the bullpen. Well, and it just so happened, in the previous 7 starts for Thomas, he had that one bad outing, and that was against Lancaster. Got tagged for 3 runs in 3 innings.
5 today. Lancaster with 8 hits and a Bell. Chopper foul. Ross will handle it. Sugar Land leads New Britain in the bottom of the 3rd in game 1, 1-0. Again, that's the only game for Sugar Land that counts for the first half. If they win that one, and it'll be a 7-inning game. If York loses this, it's over, and Sugar Land advances to the playoffs along with Long Island. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Bell can't believe it. That has happened to him all year. So he strikes out looking, but the Barnstormers are able to tack on 3 on 5 hits with 2 left, and it's 5-1 Barnstormers. Caleb Gindel with a 2-run home run. Destin Hood, an RBI single up the middle. Lancaster adding 3 runs to the coffers in the bottom half of the 3rd inning to take a 5-1 lead over the York Revolution. The first half in the Freedom Division still on the line. York with a chance to catch Sugar Land. Skeeters 35-34, York 33-34. Coming into today, the final day of the first half schedule. But York, like the Barnstormers, make up games on tap for the second half. Long Island clinched last night in the middle of the Ducks game against Southern Maryland because Somerset lost at High Point. And we talk about Caleb Gindel's home run here. Well, Mike Antonini, the great closer for the Somerset Patriots, leading the league with 25 saves, gave up back-to-back home runs with 2 outs in the 9th.
Oh.
Somerset was leading 2-1. The Patriots had a chance to stay alive, and Southern Maryland was leading Long Island last night when this happened. And that race could have gone down to today. But Tyler Ladendorf and Quincy Lattimore hit back-to-back home runs off of Antonini, the 3 and 4 hitters for High Point in the bottom of the 9th. 2 outs, nobody on. Somerset had been leading 2-1. And chances are one of those got a little bit of boost on that huge wind out there. That is a foul ball past first base. Wellington Dotel at a ball and 2 strikes.
What if you're Somerset, you're thinking, okay, this is just what we wanted. We got our closer in here. Let's seal the deal. Boom, boom.
I watched Richie Schaefer hit a ball the other night off Kyle Davies. The Barnstormers were up 1-0. And Schaefer's got good raw power, and I'm not going to take anything away from him. But it looked like a 250, 280-foot fly ball out. And you just watch it go and go and go. It was like Gindle's home run last inning. There's a fly ball out the right, and this one could be trouble. Back goes Gindle. Caleb onto the warning track. Reaches up to make the catch on Dotel. 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning.
Boy, when that left the bat, I thought for sure that had a chance to get over the wall, but that just kind of died out there then.
Gindle knows how to play right field at Clipper Magazine Stadium as well as anybody not named Blake Galen. But I think he's probably matched Galen by now. Chris Van Rossum was also very good out there in the early days of the franchise here. Breaking ball for a strike. It is 0-1.
Well, what I like about Anderson right now is that he is going back to utilizing the entire strike zone. You saw the off-speed pitch. There's another one. But that high fastball today is really working for him. York has not been able to catch up to that.
Well, he's the most powerful of the Barnstormers starting pitchers. He's the one who throws regularly in the 90s. Smashed where Martinez can get to it. That ball died on its way to Michael. 2 outs. Dent's retired. And Angelos Nina will step in.
Well, and we talk about having that shutdown inning after getting a big 3 runs in the 3rd. You want your pitcher to go out, boom, boom, get a 1, 2, 3 inning if possible, and keep that mojo on your side.
Anderson once again pitching a solid, not necessarily spectacular, but a solid game. Tap foul. His off-speed stuff's working well too.
Yeah.
I mean, I like what I'm seeing out of John today. It was not a great start. He walked, trapped, gave up a base hit up the middle to Castillo, but got Telvin Nash to ground into a double play, got out of that 1st inning, set the stage for the Barnstormers, and Anderson pitching with a 4-run lead right now and doing what he needs to do. There's a hard hit ground ball and a base hit again, a 2-out single for the York Revolution. Alvaro Rondon will step in.
Yeah, he's throwing a lot of pitches today. Where do you have him right now?
I have him at 76, but I'll get the official count from the box score here.
Well, if you can get Rondon and get out of the inning here.
Inside and low, ball 1 on Rondon.
You would hope that he could go another inning, maybe into the 6th.
Either that was 77, which would agree with me, or the previous pitch was. 1 ball, no strikes. Rondon beats it to 3rd. Easy play for Josh Bell. He'll go the short way to end the inning. Anderson's through 4 and still operating with a 4-run lead. Lancaster's still in control here this afternoon, trying to help out the Sugar Land Skeeters in the first half race. Sugar Land, it appeared, had it pretty much wrapped up in tinfoil and stored in the freezer about 3 weeks ago. But they got cold all of a sudden. One too many players pulled from that ball club. And York caught incredible fire. 18-3. It's tough to do in baseball. You got to look at the brain trust. Mark Mason on the left, Sandy De Leon. I think that was Noel Polanco, but I didn't quite get a look. Ian Thomas has had a rough afternoon, though. At times, he's been stellar. He has struck out 6 without walking a batter, but the Barnstormers have racked up the base hits. Parker Morin, a strikeout victim, his first time up, steps in. And he rings a base hit into right field. That is 9. Again, a first pitch base hit.
Well, 9 base hits, and all of them have been hard hit. I mean, they are zeroed in on Thomas's pitches right now.
And that's going to be the end for Ian Thomas. When you come to the mound as the manager, you must make a pitching change under Atlantic League rules. Thomas will depart. They go to a right-hander. We're going to have the change. We'll be back to identify the new pitcher coming in for the York Revolution. Ian Thomas today was only able to record 3 outs that weren't on strikes. He fanned 6 along the way in 3+ innings, but in amongst the strikeouts were some loud Barnstormers base hits, a total of 9, and Thomas is chased after 1 batter in the 4th inning. He gives way to Philip Walby, right-hander out of San Diego, California initially, and resides now in Harper Woods, Michigan. Darian Sanford, the batter. Walby is upstairs. It is ball 1 and no strike. Sugar Land's lead still 1-0 at the end of 3 against the New Britain Bees. Either a Sugar Land win or a York loss will conclude the first half race in the Freedom Division. Ball 2 is inside and low to Darian. 2-0. You've got to look at York as the early favorite to win the second half, but you just never know how it's going to go. I remember 2015, the Barnstormers had a dismal first half, didn't get off to a great start in the second half, and all of a sudden the team caught fire. Won 41 of the last 57 and won the second half going away.
So let's just say that everything does get finalized today. Do they still need to make up that game with Southern Maryland?
Yes, because theoretically the wild card race is still on.
Okay.
For both Lancaster and York with make-up games at Southern Maryland. The Barnstormers are scheduled, as Sanford pops out, the Barnstormers are scheduled to play 2 there on Friday, beginning at 5 o'clock. With my understanding right now is that the first game of that doubleheader is the first half game, and the second game will be the first game of the second half, which is really crazy. Lancaster and Southern Maryland do not really have a legitimate shot at the wild card, and if the game was scheduled later, I think you probably forget about it, but this early, I think you still have to play it. Michael Martinez swings and misses against Walby.
Well, and the nice thing, too, with the All-Star game being in York this year, these guys get to stay here. It's a short drive over to York, so you don't have that extended travel to get to some of these other cities where an All-Star game could have been held.
And the travel schedule is much easier for the Barnstormers in the second half. Ground ball, that will be played nicely by the second baseman, Rondon. Into the hole, he gets Martinez. Morin advances to second, and Gamache bats with 2 outs.
That's a heck of a play because his momentum has taken him to the foul line and still able to square up enough and get an accurate throw in plenty of time.
A short
Martinez.
throw, but try to make that throw behind you when you're on the dead run. That was a tough play. Nicely done by Alvaro Rondon. Learned to appreciate his defensive skills when he was with Sugar Land last year. Here is Gamache. He was singled into right and grounded to second. No lead is safe in this ballpark or against York, so you want to be greedy here.
Absolutely. Greed is good.
Was it Gordon Gecko? You can remember that. Greed is good. Gordon Gecko, it's all G's. 4G. Bounced.
Ooh.
So if Tejeda could have found that again right away, and if somebody had been over there to recover, there was a lot of opportunity to get more, and he was way off the bag thinking that one had gotten through.
Yeah, Morin had thoughts of going to third.
Tejeda couldn't grip it the second time. And Lancaster with the runner in scoring position. 2 balls and nothing to Dan Gamache. Walby delivers, foul to the screen. 2-1.
Well, Gamache has hit well with runners in scoring position. He's knocked in 14, excuse me, that's the wrong one. Knocked in 34 runs and hitting .319.
Looking for a base hit here, trying to knock Morin home. Upstairs for ball 3. Maybe another opportunity for Caleb Gindel. Walby to the plate, and that is lined deep to right field. Way back it goes, and that is gone. The walls did not contain it. Gamache with a line drive home run, and it is 7-1. His 6th home run of the year. He is now driven in 45. Thought that might come off the wall initially, but he got under it just enough.
And doesn't it figure when everything starts to happen now offensively for the Barnstormers, it's the last game of the first half, and you want to carry this momentum. But, you know what? Keep her going. Well, I just like the way these guys are swinging the bats today.
Here is Gindel, who has a home run, and he has driven in a run with a horseplay ground ball. 1-0 to him. Lancaster ahead by 6. And if they're watching the scoreboard up in New Britain, Connecticut, the Sugar Land Skeeters can get excited. Gindel has a pitch bounce to the plate, getting away once again from Tejeda. Ball 2 and no strikes.
I don't see how you can't be scoreboard watching. I mean, if you're the opposing team on the verge of clinching.
I would imagine the Long Island Ducks were last night.
Yeah. How do you not glance up and just see what else is going on?
To Gendel 2-0. Way upstairs from Walby in ball 3 with Terdoslavich waiting on deck. Gamache, Gendel, Terdoslavich, all All-Stars. And today, certainly a display of why. Caleb lets it go and draws ball 4. Terdoslavich will step in. It's the first walk given up by York pitching on the day.
Good eye. Yeah, and we've talked about it too. There's no part of the strike zone that's safe with Caleb Gendel at the plate. He has really hit the ball to all fields very well this year.
Terdoslavich, 2 solid singles into left field as a right-handed batter today. Walby will go to work, and ball 1 is low. He has not thrown a strike since the Gamache homer. Lifted out the left field. Should be little trouble for Wellington Dotel. He latches on to end the inning, but it's 2 more on the board for the Barnstormers. On 2 hits and 1 left, Dan Gamache leaves the yard, and Lancaster's lead has grown to 7-1. An impressive showing for the Lancaster Barnstormers at the plate this afternoon. York has 9 outs left to keep hopes alive in the first half race in the Freedom Division. But those hopes may be negated because of what is going on in New Britain, because Sugar Land now leads 2-0 in the top half of the 4th against the Bees. Again, one or the other, a Sugar Land win or a York loss, and the first half race is over. What's that they're showing? What are people eating there, Eric? One has a dish, one has a cone. It's ice cream. First pitch strike. It is 0-1. By the way,
our camera guys love scouring the crowds.
Those of us who have discovered this location in High Point, there is an ice cream shop. It's a little one, little privately owned place a couple blocks to the right of the hotel when you leave it. It is my happy place in High Point. They are the nicest, friendliest people in there. I love going in. On the right side, backhanded dig by Gamache, and he will throw out, trap one away.
Wow, I've seen some fine defensive work here this afternoon. Each second baseman coming up with some nice plays. That took a little of a hop on Gamache.
Yeah, he stayed with an ugly bounce right there. Able to throw out Justin Trapp. That'll bring on Henry Castillo, who is 2 for 2. 2 out of the 5 hits for York against John Anderson.
Well, not only is Lancaster scoring multiple run innings, but they're a little bit longer innings too. So Anderson a chance to sit down, cool off, get rehydrated. That's perfect for a pitcher.
Barnstormers getting the multiple run home runs today. Those have been lacking. Castillo, big rip, and he misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. 84 pitches for John Anderson. I was 1 short last inning. Two and 1. Anderson in his 3rd year as a Barnstormer. He has done very well here. And I cannot explain to you, and people have asked, I cannot offer an explanation why no major league organization has purchased his contract during his 2.5 years as a Barnstormer. He's got tremendous stuff. He dominates when you put him in the bullpen, but he's translated to a starting pitcher here pretty well also.
Was it last season he made that transition?
For the most part, yes. Foul down the left field side. Castillo batting 3-2. He was 6-1 with a 3.43 ERA in 12 starts last year in the second half. His work certainly helped get the Barnstormers to the playoffs last year. But you've got a left-hander with really good stuff who throws in the 90s. There's a drive by Castillo. Sanford won't get there, and Castillo is 3 for 3. That is deep into the gap. Castillo is going to go for 3, and he is going to be in easily. A triple for Henry Castillo. That is his 3rd. Getting a ball into the deep angle out in left center field. Not even the speed of Darian Sanford really had much of an opportunity there.
No, because it's going to be tailing away from Sanford, and like you said, that juts into that alley at 409 feet. That in combination with some pretty good speed by Castillo is going to get to third base fairly easily.
Nash stands in. He's grounded into a double play, and he's doubled in the run that York has on the board. Barnstormers will trade an out for a run here, or a run for an out more appropriately. To Nash, it is low, ball 1 and no strikes. You just still don't want to let this York lineup begin to chain hits together. Keep them separated. And that's what Anderson's been able to do pretty well by and large. He's allowed a base hit in every inning today. To Nash, ball 2 is low.
Yeah, York has left 5 runners on base through 4 innings, 4 of which were in scoring position. So Anderson has been able to work out of some jams, but you don't want to flirt with danger.
2 balls and no strikes to the slugging Telvin Nash. Anderson's pitch, boy, he went after that with a vengeance. 2-1. Anderson coming with a fastball. And again, here's John Anderson. If you're looking strictly at velocity, a left-handed pitcher who in his 5th inning of work is still hitting 92 on our stadium gun, which is notoriously a little bit short.
And he's challenging up in the zone again too, which I really like.
2-1 to Nash. 1 out with Castillo, the runner, at third. And again, the Barnstormers will gladly give up a run to get an out here. 2-1. Ball 3 is outside. But what you don't want to do, as scary as Nash can be, is walk him and add another base runner here.
Yeah.
3 balls and a strike. Tejeda's on deck. Anderson so far today has controlled him pretty well. Here's the 3-1. It breaks low, and that is the 2nd walk Anderson's allowed, first since the leadoff batter of the day. Tejeda will step in. He has struck out and fouled out. Somerset leading High Point 4-0 in the middle of the 3rd. They play a single game. Southern Maryland and Long Island, that no longer matters. They play at 5:05 this afternoon. The Ducks move the games to 5:05 in July and August on a Sunday. We'll be there in a couple of weeks and have one of those later starts. To Tejeda now, popped up foul for strike one.
Well, he got Tejeda back in the first inning by mixing up his pitches, and that last one he got when he struck him out had Tejeda on his heels.
Barnstormers with Logan Sawyer warming up in the bullpen. They'd love to see Anderson get through this inning, though. 0-1. Tejeda takes low, a ball and a strike. However, John Anderson, on a still pretty warm and muggy afternoon, has had to throw a pitch total of 95 at this stage.
Double play would be ideal right here.
Anderson to Tejeda, 1-1 pitch. Foul down the line. Polanco wanted no part of it. No, juice comes, points for you.
He kind of waved at it, if anything.
As I say, the third base coach for the Sugar Land Skeeters has become our standard bearer of defensive work in the third base coach's box. 1 and 2.
Has he been informed of that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a standing joke between the two of us. Lined up the middle, base hit center field. And now it is 7-2. York's on the prowl. Carlos Franco stepping in. And now the question becomes if Anderson can last this fifth inning. Tejeda went after the high offering.
Well, a pretty good pitch. He jammed him, but Tejeda just muscled it into center field, and he got the best of it.
First and second with one out. Franco stepping in. He is struck out and grounded to short. This York lineup is scary. You can't let up against them. Good for strike one. And Franco will complain about that to Bill Worthington. A knee buckling breaking ball. Mark Mason doesn't appear happy. Too much on the line. Mason has to be proud of his ball club and the charge it has put on regardless. Still 2-0 Sugar Land in the bottom half of the fourth. No balls, one strike to Carlos Franco. Anderson deals. This is in the dirt. Skipping away from Morin, but not far. The runners hold.
Now, granted, you don't have that split seasons in Major League Baseball, but look what the Washington Nationals have done. They got off to a bad start. They were in 5th place and way behind. Now they're 6 games out of first.
162 game schedule, you've got time to make it up. 140 game schedule, you have time to make it up. One ball, one strike to Franco. Hard hit ground ball through to right field for a base hit. Coming around is Nash, and then he'll hold at third. The bases are loaded for Wellington Dotel, and we'll see if Ross makes the change. Dotel is grounded out and flied out. This is what York can do. This ball club is never out of a game. It won't let itself be out of a game. And Ross Peoples is on the way. John Anderson can't last the 5th inning. He was pitching brilliantly through the leadoff batter here in the 5th, but he's given up base hits to both the lefties here. And Ross is going to his bullpen. Anderson pitched well. Logan Sawyer has taken over with the bases loaded and 1 out here in the 5th inning. I mentioned earlier Ross has gone to him in some pressure situations lately. He's gone 10 1/3 innings of scoreless baseball. It gets Dotel to chase a pitch in his eyes for strike 1. As I said, Wellington Dotel, amazingly unpredictable.
Yeah. I mean, that one was way up, like you said, eye level. And the only guy I can think of that would swing a bat like that was Vladimir Guerrero.
Manny Sanguillen, way back in the day,
yes.
too. Yep.
Yep.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Sawyer trying to get Anderson out of this jam and get us to the bottom of the 5th inning. To Dotel, swing and a miss. It's 0-2. That was a slider. 6'5" right-hander out of Knoxville. That had some late bite to it.
Yeah, it's situations like this with this York club that you just have to hold your breath and just hope that Sawyer has the best of it.
Dotel goes for the 0-2, pops it up. Hobson coming over, braces himself, but no play. Dotel still in with the bases loaded.
Now, the way he is a free swinger like this, ideally you'd want to have a pitch maybe to dive out of the strike zone, but the fact that you got bases loaded, you don't want to run that risk. It's ball.
Do you have confidence in Parker Morin?
Well, we'll find out here.
0-2. Sawyer comes to Dotel, and he's low. Wellington laid off. It's ball 1. Big moment for the young right-hander. To Dotel, here's the 1-2. He wouldn't bite for that either. 2-2. Ryan Dent, who has had a history of big hits against the Barnstormers, is in the on-deck circle.
All right, do you go to the well a third time, or do you go up in the strike zone?
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball, second base. Gamache to Martinez. Back to Hobson. Sawyer gets the Barnstormers out of the inning. 4-6-3 and a double play. Great escape for Logan Sawyer, and the Barnstormers hold a 7-2 lead. The Lancaster Barnstormers came out swinging the bats today against left-handed starter Ian Thomas, building a 7-1 lead through the first 4 innings of play. Here's Dan Gamache with the 2-run home run that made it 7-1 as he went yard for the 6th time. Some good defensive work for the Lancaster Barnstormers altogether. York has narrowed the gap slightly, but the Barnstormers able to get out of a bases-loaded threat with a ground ball double play, closing out the top half of the 5th inning. Orlando Quiros has come into the ball game for the York Revolution. They don't have a lot of lefties out of the bullpen, but the Quiros gets used a fair amount by Mark Mason, especially when the Barnstormers are involved. Lancaster is 6 outs from knocking out York from the first half. We are slightly ahead of the Sugar Land New Britain game, which started at 1:35. They're in the top of the fifth, 2-0 in favor of the Skeeters. Carlos Pimentel throwing the shutout there, dueling with Riney Lara. 4-0 Somerset in a single game at High Point. They're in the fourth inning. Casey Hobson, the batter, in the first pitch is up, ball one and no strikes. Hobson 1 for 2. This game is very important to both Somerset and High Point because they're going to be dueling for a playoff spot somewhere down the road, you have to think. Either for the second half in the Liberty Division or for a wild card spot if Long Island should happen to win both halves or Sugar Land win both halves over here. Hobson batting 2-0 against Quiros. There's a hard hit ground ball, but right at the second baseman Rondon. He has to wait for Franco. 1 out. Destin Hood will be the batter. It's so good to see Destin with that RBI single back in the third inning.
Yeah, to get that first hit and a solid one. So now everybody in the lineup has had a base hit here tonight.
Except Bell.
Yep.
He's on deck.
There's a lot of things to point out at this game. Obviously, if Lancaster holds on to win, it knocks York out. But it also gives them their first win in 6 games here at home against York, which, is kind of hard to believe. And of course, then it cuts down the margin in that War of the Roses Cup.
It'll be 6-3. Header coming up today. I don't know who York is starting in that game. They did not announce it. Alejandro. The started 20. I think it would have. Tinas has tried to bounce a couple today from the hole, and he just runner on base. And his hit number 9 is 1 out of 2. Is upstairs for ball 1. Martinez upping today. Low and away. Was left, and that's a second base runner here in the top half of the 6th inning. Alvaro Rondon will come to the plate from the left side.